What if I told you there's only one skill between you and a million? Not financial, not technical, not physical. One is mental. Millionaires aren't born with this skill. They mold it, like how you mold your muscles, how you develop the habit of getting up early or turning off your phone before bed. Only it's the habit of thinking big. That's not a motivational phrase, it's an instruction manual. Because you're not poor. You just haven't practiced your head. The only difference between you and someone who drives a Rolls Royce is that he thinks differently. Not better. Different. Unsuccessful people think about how to survive. Successful people think about building. You are not a broken person. You're an unknowing builder. And if you're still living at a financial disadvantage, maybe it's just that no one has shown you the ultimate tool, your mind. When Jim Rohn started out, he was just an ordinary employee. He had no connections, startup capital, or unique talent, but he had a mentor. And the first thought he heard was, formal education gives you survival. Self-education gives you freedom. Then he started reading, thinking, taking notes. And from that moment on, everything began to change. Because everything you see around you, a telephone, a lamp, a business, a car, started as a thought. A thought is a seed, which means your life today is a harvest of old thoughts. Want a different reality? Sow other ideas. Look at the way you think about money. When you hear the word rich, what arises inside? Inspiration or rejection? Joy or envy? Calmness or distrust? As long as there is tension inside you about money, it won't come. Because money comes where it is welcome. Most people's mindset, how to get through the end of the month. Millionaire's mindset, how to create a system that will live longer than me. Most people don't fail because of lofty goals. They fail because they set goals that are too small, and they achieve them. The most dangerous thing is to fall into the comfort trap, saying to yourself, I'm doing just fine, I'm not complaining. But inside you feel like you're living at 10% of your potential. Wealth is not about the amount of money, it's about the amount of purpose realized. A millionaire isn't just someone who made a million. It's someone who became a different person to make that million relevant. You can't reach a new level by remaining an old version of yourself. The level of money is a reflection of the level of discipline, a level of inner focus, the level of standards. If your standards are low, you automatically reject big money. Big money is a side effect of high thinking. Money doesn't come to the needy. Money comes to those who are willing to manage it, who can hold it, multiply it, direct it. Because if you don't manage your thinking, someone else will manage it for you. News, environment, past experiences, social media comments. Most people have their head open like a passageway. Any thought, any emotion, any opinion comes in and starts controlling their actions. Millionaires are the gatekeepers. They filter every thought. They don't let fear park itself in their heads. They don't let doubt grow like a weed. They choose, this thought I let in, it serves me, and this one I throw out, because it de-energizes. If you wake up and the first thing you do is pick up your phone, you've already lost. The morning is the wheel of your day, and if you don't set a direction from the start, the day will take you wherever the algorithms and alarms want you to go. Millionaires start their mornings not with social media, but with silence, with a question, what do I want to build today? With an affirmation, I am creating my future. The simplest actions, repeated every day, create incredible results. Not because they're complex, it's because they're consistent. Millionaires read every day, even for 5 minutes. Just one page, because the knowledge that enters your head over and over again begins to create neural pathways. The structure of thinking changes. It changes the level of decisions, and therefore the level of money. You can't make more money than you can handle. If you're given $1 million and your inner identity remains at the paycheck level, you lose everything. That's why lottery players go broke. Their bank account has changed, but their head remains the same. Millionaires are the ones who first became a millionaire, and then that million just caught up with them. The most important question is, what do I have to become to make as much money as I want? And the answer is not to do more. It's about thinking bigger, deeper, further. Success isn't about running, it's attraction. Attraction is created not by effort, but by character, not panic, but calm clarity. You become a magnet, not needing, but creating. Now you know where it all begins, not with external actions, but with inner choices. Not with a perfect plan, but with the discipline to think a little more broadly every day than you did yesterday. In part two, we'll break down how to create a system of thinking that will automatically lead you to wealth, even when you're not energized, in the mood, or inspired. But before that, make a choice. You continue to be a spectator, or you become an architect, the architect of your life. Money is not the goal. Money is a mirror. Look into it. What are you ready to see? You've already realized the main thing. Money is not a job. It is a reflection of your internal system. Now you need to understand how to build this system, how to create a mindset that works for you even when you're resting, even when you're not in the mood, even when the world goes crazy. Millionaires don't rely on motivation. They build discipline, not rigid, not military, but conscious, intelligent discipline. They realize that every day is a brick, and thoughts are the cement. And if you don't build today, tomorrow you won't have a place to come back to. A millionaire's mindset is like a garden. You either water it every day or the weeds will grow on their own. You can't grow without structure. Random success is a myth. Success is the predictable result of small habits repeated 1,000 times. Question: what habits work for you? Do you keep a journal? No? Then your thoughts are leaking out. Do you plan your day? No? Then someone else will plan it for you. Do you read 10 pages a day? No? Then someone else is filling your head with their attitudes. Millionaires aren't brilliant. They're consistent. They just do the same thing, over and over again, because they know results don't come from inspiration, but from being systematic. Reading, writing, reflection, repetition. It all sounds simple, and that's why most don't. Here's the truth. It's easy not to read a book. It's easy not to write your goals. It's easy not to think about the future. But it is in these easy things that ordinary life is born. People don't give up suddenly. They just give up a small action every day and end up waking up 10 years later and nothing has changed. Not because of bad luck. It's because there was no course. There was no direction. Just a reaction to circumstances. Millionaires don't live reactively. They live intentionally. They don't wake up and hope. They wake up and create. They don't think, let's see how the day goes. They say, this is how I want it to be. Because when you don't set the vector is set for you. Real wealth begins the moment you take responsibility. Not for everything, but for the most important things. The thoughts you allow, for the habits you choose, for the environment you shape. Because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if those people whine, complain, blame others, you'll do the same. Not because you're that way, it's because you're in that vibrational field. Millionaires filter their surroundings, not out of snobbery, but out of strategy. Because every conversation is either a contribution or a drain. You have a conversation and you're either energized or you're drained. And if you're still clinging to people who are dragging you down, you're not ready for wealth. Because wealth requires boundaries. Your mind is a temple. And if everyone goes in there, there's no light. Millionaires put guards on it. They decide, I let these thoughts in, I don't let these thoughts in. This is content I watch, and this is content I delete. These are the topics I discuss, and these are the ones I refuse. Not out of fear, it's out of strength. Because they know one toxic dialogue can throw you off track for weeks. One negative video can revert to old thinking. One doubting person can infect with their fear. That's why they protect their head as their most valuable asset. Now let's talk about the foundation, the morning. Millionaires don't wake up by accident. They get up with intention. They don't grab the phone, they grab for silence. They don't scroll, they look inward. The first 30 minutes of the day is channel tuning. Either you're tuning into a wave of power and clarity, or you're being sucked in by a flood of other people's chaos. Morning rituals are not a trendy habit. It's an essential element of a rich mindset. Write down a purpose. Remember why you live. Feel gratitude. It doesn't take an hour, it takes 5 minutes. But if you're missing it, you're missing yourself. Now pay attention. One of the most powerful habits is writing, not to social media, to a notebook. When you write, you're structuring. You pull thoughts out of the chaos. You see what you have inside. And when you see, you can change. Writing is the mirror of the mind, and millionaires use that mirror every day. They don't just set goals. They track progress. They record gratitude. They form a new mindset through paper. Because what you don't write down will disappear. What you did record will stick. That's how new neural pathways are created. One last thing in this section. Don't wait for inspiration. It's not for you. It's for the audience. You're not the audience. You're a builder. And if you do 3 simple things every day, read, write, plan, you'll be amazed at how things start to change. People, opportunities, income. Because life adjusts to someone who knows where they're going, even if the steps are small, even if the path isn't clear. If you're on your way, the universe backs off. Luck is a side effect of consistency, and you either build your luck every day or you wait a lifetime for it. In part 3, we'll move on to the most powerful element of the millionaire mindset, long-term vision. You'll think it's not about money, but it's what determines how much you're able to hold on to wealth when it comes. And it will come. If you keep going, if you choose, if you form a new mindset day by day. You have already realized discipline is not a prison, but a ladder. You are building yourself, and it shows in your actions, in your thoughts, in your choice of surroundings. Now we move to another level, the most underrated, the most powerful, the most long range. It's about long-term thinking. Millionaires don't think within a week. They think in terms of 10 years. And these are not pretty words. It's the foundation that allows them to stay on top when others deflate. Most people want quick results. A diet in 3 days, $1 million in a month, happiness all at once. But the law of the universe is simple. Everything great grows slowly. Instant success is a myth invented by marketers. Real success is a result you don't even notice right away. Think of a tree. You plant the seed, you water it, the sun is shining. You don't see anything for weeks, and then it sprouts. And only years later, the shade, the fruit, the strength. Most people don't wait. They plant, and on the 3rd day, they dig it up. Why didn't it grow? Millionaires don't dig. They believe in processes. They trust the roots. They realize that even if they can't see it, everything works inside. And that's why they win, because they don't build on emotion, they build on a decision to go all the way. And that's where the real wealth begins. You don't realize how transformative one question is. What am I doing today that will still matter 10 years from now? Not tomorrow, not at the end of the week, but 10 years from now. That question burns away the clutter. It exposes priorities. It reveals how small or large your actions are. And if you answer honestly, you start to live differently because the meaningless things fall away and the meaningful ones start to shine. You don't waste time, you invest it. You don't live reactively. You begin to form an empire. But there's a danger here because most people don't know how to think years ahead. They live from paycheck to paycheck, from stress to weekend. They want the immediate likes, immediate money, immediate results. It's a survival mindset. Millionaires live in a legacy mindset. They don't just create for themselves. They create for the future, for what will remain even when they are gone. That's why they endure when the going gets tough. That's why they carry on when there is no recognition. It's why they maintain focus when others give up. You won't get great results as long as you measure yourself by the day. You have to turn on the scale. Success is like a snowball. It grows if you push. Nothing at first, then a little, then slowly. Then it's unstoppable. Now ask yourself a question. How many snowballs have you started and thrown? How many times have you started down a path and never made it to the first peak? The problem isn't motivation. The problem is that you weren't thinking for 10 years. You were thinking one day. And a day is an illusion. It doesn't bear fruit. It only plants. Long-term thinking requires maturity. You don't get the reward right away. You work in the shadows. You build while no one sees. You invest without knowing when it will pay off. But it's this mindset that makes you someone who is ready for wealth. Because wealth isn't a number. It's a willingness to retain, to develop, to expand. Millionaires aren't interested in just the bottom line. They're interested in who they become along the way. Because it is this transformation that makes them worthy of all that comes. If you want to become rich, stop thinking like a poor person. A poor person wants now. The rich wants forever. The poor asks for the easy. The rich chooses the valuable. A poor person quits when faced with difficulty. Rich adapts. And most importantly, the poor thinks in categories of survival. The rich thinks in categories of influence. You don't just want money. You want to become someone whose life is influential, whose work gives, whose energy transfers. And that takes a willingness to go long. Without applause, no guarantees, just because you know it's the way. Now for the practical. Take a piece of paper and write down, where do I want to be in 10 years? Not just a house, a car, a bill. What do I want to be? What do I want to be able to do? What do I want to give? What do I want to leave behind? Write it down. Don't think how. Think why. Because when there's a why, there's always a how. Millionaires don't always know how, but they always know why. It's that knowledge that allows them to go when there's no clarity, blindly but confident. Because if you stay on course with your purpose, you won't get lost. One more thing, remove the rush. It's the enemy of growth. It creates pressure. Pressure creates mistakes. Mistakes create rejection, and rejections bring you back to the old. Take away the rush, add depth. It's better to move slowly than to stand still. It's better to build with patience than to destroy with haste. The millionaire inside you is not in a hurry. He builds, he's mortgaging. He knows that what's fast is fragile. Anything stable grows out of patience. You already know how to think. You know how to build habits. You know how to think a decade ahead. But now it's time for the most important thing of all, action. Because all thinking is useless if you don't stand up and take the first step. It's in action that you validate your new thinking. Ready to move on to the final step? Then be here in part 4. Because it's not just the completion, it's the start of your new life. You've gone through 3 levels. You've realized that wealth starts in the head. You've built a foundation of discipline. You've learned to look not at tomorrow, but a decade ahead. And now comes the moment of truth, the simplest, the hardest, the most uncomfortable, and the most honest. It is the moment of action. Because all thoughts, all insights are worthless if they don't materialize. Millionaires don't just think differently, they do. They don't wait, they move. They don't look for the perfect moment. They create the moment. Because they know success isn't something that comes. It's something you create. That's where 95% of people give up. They've listened, read, been inspired, and they've gone on with the tape. They felt the energy, but didn't translate it into action. They decided to change, but they put it off until Monday, and that was it. In that moment, the old version won. In that moment, habit defeated decision, and all the power was gone. Millionaires don't let the moment pass. They have a rule. If you feel a movement inside, you anchor it with action, even a small one. But today, now because action is the anchor, it makes the idea real. You won't become rich by just thinking. Thinking opens the door, but it's your job to follow that path. People often ask, what do I do to get rich? The answer sounds too simple. Do what you already know. Just do it, systematically, persistently. No show, no perfection. Not doing it perfectly, but doing it all the time. You want change, but you choose comfort out of habit. You want new things, but you keep repeating the old. Until you translate new thinking into new action, everything remains an illusion. Millionaires didn't do something supernatural. They woke up and did what they decided to do. They had a schedule. They had a plan. They had a task list. They didn't rely on mood. The mood goes away. The power stays. They didn't always feel like it. But they did it anyway, because they understood that results come not from inspiration, but from repetition. You can't grow a body if you train once. You can't grow capital if you save on an ad hoc basis. You can't grow a business if you act on mood. Everything is built by action, and actions are built by decisions. And now we're getting to the practice. You can turn your life around right now, not with a promise, not a plan, but with one short action. It will be the first brick in your new system, the first movement of your new mindset. It will only take you 3 minutes. But if you do it, you'll have made a choice. South, take a piece of paper or open a memo and write 3 lines. 1, who I don't want to be anymore. 2, who I choose to be from this day forward. 3, what one action I will take today to affirm that choice. That's it. This is not a game. It's a moment of transformation. And if you don't write, you're still choosing the old. But if you do, you've already started on a new path. You think it's too easy? Yes. And that's the power of it. Because most people expect complicated instructions, and wealth comes to those who know how to do the simple. Regularly, on time, in the moment, everyone you see on stage in book covers, at the top, once just started. Not perfectly, not loudly, not with support, but they just started. Today is your moment, not tomorrow, not next month. It's now, because now is the only moment in which you can change the course of your life. Everything else is excuses. Now look at your life. Everything you have is the result of past decisions. You want new things, change the decisions, change the thinking, change your behavior. Don't wait, do it. Don't think, act. Don't tell yourself a story, write your own. Stop flipping through other people's success stories. It's time to create your own. Because you're worthy, because you're ready, because there's a power inside you that you haven't even used. And if you made it to the end of this video, it's no accident. It's a challenge, and you took it. Now you have everything: knowledge, awareness, a new mindset. All that's left is to anchor it. Anchor it through practice, through action, through a single decision made today, not tomorrow. And if this video resonated with you, don't let the feeling fade. Hit that like button, not just for the algorithm, but as a personal commitment. Subscribe, because this is just the beginning of your transformation. And leave a comment below. Write, I start today. That one sentence is more than words. It's a contract with your future self. Let today be the day you stop watching and start becoming.